Hello students, welcome to science class. So today in chemistry we are going to discuss topic 2. Do you remember topic 1? I would like to revise topic 1, that is we are discussing how the development of atomic theory has taken place.
Storybox Audio.
So regarding this topic, today we are going to discuss topic 2. So coming to the development of atomic theory, we were discussing how scientists discovered electrons, protons and neutrons.
Storybox
In
Audio.
this, we have discovered how electron was discussed how electron was discovered. It was discovered by J.J. Thomson in the year 1897 through an experiment called as discharge tube
Storybox
experiment.
Audio.
So it was done by the setup given by Sir William Crookes. Sir William Crookes has invented cathode ray tube, CRT. After his invention,
Storybox Audio.
using his invention, J.J. Thomson has arranged a discharge tube experiment, and by passing high voltage of electricity in a low pressurized gas, he observed rays of light moving from cathode terminal, and he named them as cathode rays. And this is the setup what J.J. Thomson has done experiment in the discovery of a electron. In his discovery, he observed the properties of a cathode rays to be traveling in a straight line and creates a shadow. It also gets deflected by the magnetic field as well as electric field.
Storybox
Cathode rays are having negative charges, so it was observed by the deflection of the light rays towards the positive terminal, and these rays are material particles.
Storybox
This was observed by the rotation of a light weighted paddle wheel. So why am I discussing the previous topic and its properties now? Because we have the relation for today's topic with the previous topic, that is the discovery of protons. The discovery of protons was done by a scientist who is very famous, and he is named as Eugene Goldstein.
Storybox Audio.
So after the discovery of electron, he anxiously done the experiment, and during his experiment he observed the positive charged particles, and those he named it as protons. So before entering into today's topic, that is how the discovery of proton has taken place, let me tell you about Goldstein. Goldstein was born on 5th September during the year 1850. He was a German physicist and an early investigator of the discharge tube. So underline the word investigator. So why am I using the word investigator? So I will tell you, because this word made him the discovery of protons. So he has discovered protons after doing the experiment on cathode rays, which was given by J.J. Thomson. So this is about Goldstein. Now we will see how the discovery of proton has taken place. First we will look at the setup. Look at this setup on the screen. So do it have the similar properties of a discharge tube? Let me show you once what J.J. Thomson has arranged in the discovery of cathode rays and electrons, and how Goldstein has arranged in the discovery of anode rays and protons. Look at those two setups. These are those two setups which you are able to see on the screen. The first one is J.J. Thomson arrangement. The second one is Goldstein arrangement. Observe them So in the first one, J.J. Thomson's arrangement, you can observe cathode rays which are moving from negative terminal. But here in Goldstein's, the rays will be moving from positive terminal. In J.J. Thomson's arrangement, we are able to see only the electrodes which is having plain surface. That means they does not have any holes in it.
Storybox
But in
audio.
Goldstein arrangement, you can see some holes. Just observe here on the screen, you can see holes here. So I am going to explain them both. So look at the picture which is on the screen. So what is going to happen here?
Audio.
So on the screen you are able to see some H particles, that is hydrogen particles. So these hydrogen particles which are emitted from the anode, they are not producing, the anode is not producing hydrogen particles, it is just charging that particles. So what is going to happen? Some positive charge particles, you can observe on the screen, some positive charge particles. Here you can see on the screen plus sign which is entering through a hole. So observe, you have to observe this one in the coming videos. So with this, Goldstein has discovered proton. So let me go through a video. So in this video I am going to explain how the thought
Storybox audio.
of discovery of protons came into the mind of Goldstein. Initially he does not have any intention in the discovery of a proton. So what has happened, I am going to explain through this video. Look at this video.
Storybox audio.
So we know that electron was discovered by J.J. Thomson. Until that time, all the people believed that atom is the last and ultimate particle, and thereafter we does not find any other particles.
Storybox
So
audio.
hundreds of years completion also, scientists cannot find the solution for this. That is, they believe that atom is the last particle, ultimate particle. But when J.J. Thomson has showed that atom can be divided and it consists of some other particle, one of the particle is electron, so it was become famous. How famous it has become is, all the scientists, they were shocked or surprised with his discovery.
Audio.
So this discovery has led a complete development in the chemistry. So depending upon this, Goldstein thought that whatever J.J. Thomson has arranged that setup, I am not going to believe it. I have to do it practically. I am going to check it. How he has observed all these properties of the cathode rays. So when he got this thought in his mind, he started experimenting on J.J. Thomson's. Here J.J. Thomson said one statement, that is, cathode rays nature is independent of shape, size and geometry of the cathode plate, but depends on the material of the cathode plate. This only statement led to the discovery of proton by Goldstein, that too unexpectedly. So as J.J. Thomson said that cathode plate material is important, other than that remaining thing you can neglect it. So here whatever the material you are going to take, it must be important. Then Goldstein thought that he wants only aluminum plate as a cathode plate. Why he need aluminum plate? Because of its properties. So he searched for the aluminum plate all over his room, even he searched in his storeroom, everywhere, to arrange aluminum plate as a cathode plate or electrode. Finally he found aluminum plate in the wash basin. So he did not mind. He took out that
Audio.
whatever the aluminum plate which he can find it in the wash basin. So it is having some holes. So even though it has some holes, he started experimenting using this aluminum plate. As J.J. Thomson said that material is important, he took aluminum as a cathode, and he has arranged the same setup how J.J. Thomson has arranged. As it has holes, so I told you in the beginning, it is called as perforated. So whatever the small holes which I showed you in the previous slides, so That type of arrangement is called as perforated. Here, Goldstein used cathode electrode as a perforated aluminum metal. And the same setup he has arranged. Look at the setup on the screen, you are able to see. But only in the place of cathode, he changed the material with aluminum. And it is having some holes. Same arrangement he done. Whatever the arrangement J.J. Thomson has done. So that is, he has removed all the particles inside that glass tube, that is hard glass tube. That means he made it vacuum and he passed low pressurized gas. And he passed high voltage of current. Then he observed cathode rays passing through the discharge tube. You can observe green color rays. While observing green color rays, due to that perforation, that is the small holes present in the cathode ray, he observed some other particles moving on the other side of the cathode electrode. And these rays are moving to the end of the discharge tube and striking to the plate, which created a shining nature, that is glowing nature. As they are passing through that hose, he named them as canal rays. So then he started thinking on these rays. These rays are not mentioned by J.J. Thomson. He just told that only cathode electrode is going to emit the rays, and that's why they are called as cathode rays. Here cathode rays are emitted, but along with cathode rays, some other rays are passing. The green color rays which are passing from cathode is called as cathode rays. You are able to see on the screen. Along with this green color rays, some other rays are passing on the other side of the cathode rays. Then he started thinking, what are these rays? So we know that scientists are not going to leave even a small topic or small point, because they need to investigate on these things. That investigation is going to lead to the new discoveries. This same concept has made the discovery of proton by Goldstein. So whatever Goldstein has observed those rays, he started experimenting on these rays. So he observed J.J. Thomson experiment. Along with this, he observed this canal rays also. Whatever the observations he has observed in cathode rays, that is, J.J. Thomson has given some properties of cathode rays. Same properties he is able to observe in anode rays. Then what are these rays called as? If they are cathode rays, they are moving in one direction, that is green color. On the screen you are able to see. Then what are these white color rays, and that too why they are passing only through that holes? And what are these rays? He started thinking on this thing, and finally he discovered these rays are canal rays, and as these are passed from the anode, they are called as anode rays. How he came to the conclusion that these rays are anode rays? When you observe the cathode rays, they are moving from one terminal to the another terminal, that is from a negative terminal to the positive terminal. That means unlike charges are attracting, so that's why they are moving from negative terminal to the positive terminal. So positive terminal is also going to emit some rays, and these rays, what is going to happen? They are getting knockout. They are getting knockout with the like charged particles emitted from the cathode rays. We know that cathode rays is going to emit negative charged particles. Is it or not? So negative charged particles cathode rays is going to emit. These negative charged particles are knocking out the negative charged particles present in the gas, and positive charged particles which are remaining are moving through that holes. So I am able to show you this thing on the screen. So please observe the screen. Yeah, here you can see. So when you are going to take hydrogen gas, so hydrogen gas consists of two charges, that is negative charge and positive charge. One is electron, the other thing is proton. We know now. So electron is getting knocked out with the cathode rays. Are you able to see that? And proton is only left over, and those protons are moving. On the screen you are able to see it clearly. So those protons which are remaining are passing through that perforated cathode plate. So whatever the negative charge particle, that is electrons, are getting knocked out with the cathode rays. You are able to see on the screen clearly, and only positives are remaining. these positives are moving to the other side of the tube, and when they are going to collide with the ends of the tube, there you are able to see the glowing nature. So that's why, as these are having positive charge, they are named as anode rays. So the discovery of anode rays also gave also one statement also supported to the discovery of this proton. What is that statement means? Atom is always neutral. We know that atom is always neutral. Okay, so when electrons were discovered, that is negative charge of electron is present there, means definitely there should be a positive charge, because the statement that is atoms are on a whole, atom is electrically neutral. That means if negative charge is there, equal amount of positive charge should be there. If positive charge is not at all there, then electron is not, that is atom is not neutral. We found the negative charge present in the atom. For making that negative charge neutral, definitely there should be a positive charge. This concept also led Goldstein for his discovery of a proton. So, understood? So, depending upon this, two charges were discovered which are going to make the atom neutral. That is the negative charge which was discovered by J.J. Thomson, and the positive charge which was discovered by Goldstein. On a whole, these two charges present inside the atom is letting the atom to be neutral. In the same way, Goldstein also done experiment using all the inert gases. So, in using all the inert gases, along with inert gases, he found convenient with the hydrogen gas. As I showed you that one electron and one proton present in the hydrogen gas is letting only positive charge particles to move out of that perforated cathode tube, and that made anode rays appear, and from that discovery of proton has taken place. So this is about that video. Hope you have understood. Let me show you the setup, arrangement setup. So you are able to see on the screen. So the same video I showed you in the discovery of electron. So here discovery of proton, it was done by Goldstein in the year 1886. As I said you, after the discovery of electron, scientists started observing how the electrons were discovered and the properties of the electrons, which was postulated by J.J. Thomson. So observing that, and the same point as I told you that atom on a whole is electrically neutral. So if there is a negative charge, definitely there should be a positive charge depending upon this statement. So many experiments were done by many scientists. Finally, Goldstein with his experiment, same setup, so only with the change of a cathode electron, he found this one. So coming to the experimental setup, so he has used a hard glass tube which is called as a discharge tube. A small opening is let over there to remove the, or to make the discharge tube vacuum and to pass low pressure ionized gas. And two metal rods are taken. So one is said to be as a cathode, the other one is anode. So after arranging this cathode and anode, any metal, whatever it is, but here J.J. Goldstein has taken aluminum as a cathode. High voltage of electricity is passed and low pressurized. So that is the pressure has got decreased. Whatever the gas which we are going to use inside that hard glass tube, that is with low pressure gas is filled with that discharge tube. After applying high voltage of current, as usually we can observe cathode rays passing, but due to the material what we are going to use, that is aluminum and consisting of holes, that is perforated cathode plate if you are going to use there. So anode rays are being observed. So how it is being observed, I told you in the previous video, that is on passage of high voltage of electricity. So due to that collision of like charges, that is electrons getting collided and only protons will be remaining. These protons are moving to the other end through that hose, and they are going to strike on the other end which was coated with the zinc sulfide. when zinc sulfide is collided with the charged particles, glowing nature is observed there. That glowing appearance led to the observation of protons. So in this way, proton was discovered, and whatever the properties which we have observed in cathode rays, same properties we can observe here. That is, so anode rays are going to pass in a straight line. They are going to move the light weighted paddle wheel. They are going to create a shadow, and they are going to deflect due to the electrical and magnetic field. So in this way, anode rays were discovered. So I will say the properties of anode rays, so same as the properties of cathode rays. So look at the properties of anode rays. Anode rays are called as canal rays. So as they are going to pass through the hose, they travel from anode to cathode. Anode rays consist of material particles. This was said after the rotation of the paddle wheel. Anode rays are moving in a straight line, and they are called as material particles. They made that paddle wheel to rotate. Anode rays consist of positive charge because they are going to deflect towards the negative electrode. As I told you that light rays, that is anode rays, are getting deflection due to the electrical field and magnetic field. So depending upon this observation, so anode rays are positively charged particles. So these are the properties of the anode rays. So let me show you the properties of anode rays once again. So that is, anode rays have the following important properties. The first property is anode rays also travel in a straight line. As we discussed in cathode rays, here anode rays also going to travel in a straight line. How we came to this assumption? That is, a shadow is going to be created, so which made that the anode rays are going to travel in a straight line. Anode rays can produce a mechanical effect. Mechanical effect means movement. So here what the anode rays are going to do? They are going to rotate the paddle wheel. So the rotation of the paddle wheel led to the idea that so anode rays consist of mechanical energy. They are going to rotate the light weighted paddle wheel which is placed in the path. In the same way, anode rays are positively charged particles because they are deflected towards the negative plate when electrical field is applied in the path of the anode rays. So these are the properties of the anode rays. As we have discussed in cathode rays, same properties, but only the difference is there it is a negative charge particle, here it is a positive charge particle. There it is going to deflect towards the positive terminal, here they are going to deflect towards the negative terminal. So that's all for today. Hope you have understood this topic, that is a discovery of electrons and protons. So today we have discussed how the protons were discovered by Goldstein. Thank you.